Hello everyone, my name is Anna Biker. I am currently in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I am in my last two classes of my MSW. I graduated from Dordt with my BSW back in 2023, so I'm really excited to kind of wrap up my degree and get going with my master's. So I currently work at a psychiatric inpatient hospital. I work as a discharge planner. I've been there for about 8 months. I work on putting together patients' aftercare, coordinating with outside providers, setting them up with groups, or helping them get into different residential programs. Any assistance that they're going to need once they leave the hospital kind of is coordinated through me for the unit that I'm on. So with that, I work a lot with a multidisciplinary team, which includes psychiatrists and nurses, as well as social workers that are working as clinical social workers on the unit. So I guess that's kind of my main background and experience with psychopathology. I guess like part that, as far as the medication piece, I feel like that would be my experience of just seeing different presentations of patients and how they are addressed in an inpatient setting as far as what they are prescribed, which has its challenges of, and I think my job really challenges me to think about kind of relating to the talk or the kind of sermon thing that we watched of like, what are we doing? Like, how are we categorizing these patients and how are we looking to help them? We are trying to get them out of crisis. I mean, that's why they're in the hospital, but also like, what are those categorizations saying, and how are we treating them? Or no, are we just focused on getting their meds at the right level and then sending them on their way? Or are we actually focused on whole person-centered care and trying to get them to be able to address the underlying issues that are causing some of these things that we would label as problems? And so I thought that was really interesting just to kind of listen to that lecture. And then kind of going from that, I read those articles on the Critical Therapy Antidote website. I don't remember if I wrote down the title of the first one, but it was about the critical psychiatry and the philosophers of science, with the two different ways to look at how we are approaching psychiatry. And I thought it really resonated well with the critical psychiatry side of things, of just looking at, you know, medication has proven to help, but there's a both and of, is the medication the final solution, or how can we balance that while factoring in lived experience and looking at everything that has factored into these precipitating symptoms that have led people to feel like they need to seek medication? I feel like that's a really big thing. And then going back to it from a Christian perspective of like, from a Christian perspective of thinking about what is the ultimate goal, and are these lived experiences leading to a mental health diagnosis that is categorized because it is abnormal, and what is the criteria for the abnormality, and is it clinically abnormal? I don't know if that makes a ton of sense, but it does in my brain. But if anyone has any questions, I'd love to expand on that in the comments. I guess to summarize it all too, and just like to kind of go through what I was thinking as far as integrating faith and spirituality, I feel like that's going to be a really big deal for me moving forward in my career. Of what does it look like to apply spiritual care into the treatment of people's mental health and wellness, and how are we addressing those spiritual needs before we're looking towards worldly options? Before, like, our first go-to would be to Jesus into scripture to see how he is encouraging us to address the things going on in our lives, which is really hard in a secular setting sometimes. So to conclude all that, I just wanted to say I'm super excited for this semester and to be able to learn more and learn from you guys. So I look forward to meeting you all online, and I hope we have a great semester.